Hello everybody, it's Zack Rhodes for another weekly update. Few things today. First of all, videos this week should be proceeding as normal. In Zelda, we are up to the Elden Province. We just freed Kakariko Village, so we're going to get to explore there and meet more Gorons and have fun times in sumo wrestling. And Final Fantasy X, we are in Via Purifico. So fun times are about to abound there. Last week, we started not last week, 2 weeks ago, we started Final Fantasy V, the 4-job fiesta. Is such great alliteration. Final Fantasy V 4-job fiesta. Alliteration is so good. Last week we didn't stream because of SGDQ, but this week we are going to continue on with the schedule. It worked out, at least for me. I liked it. What we're going to do, hopefully we're going to be streaming both Tuesday night and Wednesday. Tuesday night is going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday is going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. And the way it's going to be is the same as it was last time. It's going to be about a 3-hour stream each time. The first hour and a half or so is going to be Final Fantasy V, and the latter hour and a half is going to be Vesperia on Tuesday and Kingdom Hearts 2 on Wednesday. I think that worked out well for the flow, doing Final Fantasy V first. If you guys have a preference, if you can't come to the latter half of the stream and you'd rather see Final Fantasy V, then say that you want to see Final Fantasy V first. If you don't think you're going to be around until later and you'd rather see Final Fantasy V in the later slot, then let me know and I can change it up. It really depends on which people would rather do. I did a poll a couple weeks ago, and most people said that Final Fantasy V going first would be better for them. But let me know. So far, our jobs in that are Dragoon, which Summoner, which was interesting, and what was the last one? It was another Earth job. Samurai? I think it was Samurai. So, yeah, having Summoner only until we get to the Earth Crystal is going to be very interesting, but at least we were able to break an ice rod over the Liquid Flame's head, and that was just nice. That was nice. But, yeah, so that's that. Streams again this coming week. As for other things, SGDQ raised... it's over now. It ended last night. It raised over $3 million this time, which surprises me for two reasons. One, that's way past where they their total was last time. Way past where their highest previous mark was, but also because historically in the GDQ, the Games Done Quick marathons, the AGDQ marathon is the higher performing one. The winter one, the one right after MagFest. That's the one that's been getting 2.2, 2.4 the past couple of years. And AGDQ has usually done $500,000 lower. So it was really surprising to see not only it pass the records of all the GDQ streams, but to also go over 3 million, which is a really high bar to set. But it just goes to show, when you get together and you just have, people with a vision, you can do a lot of good stuff. And it doesn't have to be, a super big thing. Looking at the past GDQ, amounts, they started in 2011, 2012, and they raised $21,000, which is a lot of money. It's amazing, don't get me wrong, but you see how far they've advanced because they just kept going and they kept pushing and they kept trying to be better. And there's a lot of people involved, but not everybody does the entire job. Everybody does a little bit of the job, one run here, one run there, just joining together and becoming greater than the sum of their parts. And it's the same thing I've seen with what the Coliseum streams, with the charity project streams. Like, it's a whole bunch of little people coming together and doing huge things. And it's awesome. It's awesome. It shows that, like, you're never too small to make a difference. You're really not. And I mean, like, with the video game, like, marathons, like charity marathons, it shows that, like, they're not. We're playing video games. It's not something like huge world-changing thing that we're doing to raise the money, but we're doing something that we can do. I'm saying we as me because A, I've participated in the charity project, and B, as a gamer, I feel myself part of the community. But like, we can make a difference with the stupid stuff that we do. It's amazing, like, on a personal level, when I do the Pants on Head Week stuff, which is so stupid that I get people involved, and I've raised over $500, I think. Pretty sure over $500 for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention after a few years, which, is a drop in the bucket for what people need, but it's more than I've ever imagined that could be done for, charity. So, like, every little thing helps. And it's cool. It's cool to see. I was kind of worried because this SGDQ did not seem as hyped this time around. I don't know, maybe people were just busy or something, but like, it started off really nice. And when I was watching during the week, like, the crowd in the back was really not, like, into the cheering and stuff. It was weird. But when they got to the end in the Chrono Trigger run at the end, the 6-hour run, the crowd was really getting into it. But that's also when they raised $850,000. So, which is almost a third of what they raised total for the entire week in that last 6 hours. So there's a reason for the crowd to go crazy. But I was worried because it just didn't seem like they were into it. Like, the people there were, like, it seemed like they were trying too hard for a while. But they got into the groove, and that's what matters. Everything has ebbs and flows, highs and lows. But in the end, to borrow a cliche line is on a slightly different note. To borrow a cliche line from a book I read, the question was asked, "What is the most important step a man can take?" Some people said the first step, which is a very important step. There's always the first step to get you moving, to get that momentum going. But the answer that the book brought was the next step. That's no matter how hard things are and how much you just get pushed down to the ground, the most important step you can take is the next one, to just take that one more step. Even if you just get pushed back down again, take that next step, because otherwise that's when your journey's over. A journey does not end in failure if you take that next step, because then the journey isn't over, and that failure is just another way for you to grow. And that's kind of how it goes with a lot of things in life. And with GDQ, you take that next step, you keep going, you keep growing, even if there's a lull in the middle, you keep going, and at the end, you achieve a lot. But that's something to think about in life as well, even if you're not doing charity marathons. The most important step to take is the next step. To end off the video on a less inspirational note, I do have art. I'm sorry. That would have been like a good speech for the end to end off with, but, well, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not good at that. But first thing, we have a Patreon art. Let me just raise the light a bit. Patreon art of Futaba Sakura from Persona 5 Royal, which she had like a kimono. One of like the screenshots showed a kimono, so I drew that. And for this one, I tried to, like, I kept the background black to show that it's like at night. I made a tree, which I'm really proud of. Look at that tree. I made like all the coloring on it and stuff. Put up lanterns because it's like a festival. And I tried my best to imitate what the lighting would be. And I think it came out really nicely. I've drawn a lot of Futaba pictures over the couple of years. Year and a few months. I'm still partial to the first one that I drew, but there's a bunch of them now. Also, my last Patreon thing for the month was to draw my younger brother, Benjamin. So that's him. Look at that kid. Look at that kid. I said I'm gonna take a picture of you because I need to draw you, and he made that face. He's just like. But yeah, so those are both on Twitter if you want to see them. And yeah, look forward to good stuff coming this week. Tomorrow is July. It's crazy, right? The year is half over, but that means we still got a half a year to take that next step, to keep going. Improve. Continue the journey. You're not at your destination yet, and that's okay. The journey is pretty cool, too. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Sephiroth Level 4, and I'm going to play some more Mario Maker 2. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.